How does a movie star with millions in the bank end up sleeping in a car? Fame looks powerful, but it offers no real protection. Behind the red carpets and flashing cameras, careers quietly collapse, fortunes vanish, and trusted advisors disappear overnight. Sometimes, one bad decision is all it takes to destroy everything. Today, we uncover the celebrities who lost it all, the exact moments their lives unraveled, what went wrong behind the scenes, and the warning signs most people ignore until it's far too late. Loni Willison's story is one of the most heartbreaking examples of how quickly life can unravel once fame fades. In the early 2000s, she was a successful fitness model, regularly appearing in magazines and admired for her athletic build and confident presence. At the time, she was married to Baywatch actor Jeremy Jackson, and together they seemed to represent the California dream: beauty, stability, and a future that felt secure. After their separation in 2014, everything began to change. Modeling work slowed and then disappeared entirely as the industry shifted its focus to younger faces. At the same time, Loni's mental health struggles intensified, leaving her increasingly isolated and without the support system she desperately needed. By 2016, her life had collapsed. She lost her apartment, her car, and nearly all of her personal belongings. Today, Loni lives on the streets of Santa Monica, often seen pushing a shopping cart filled with everything she owns. The contrast is jarring. Years of hardship have taken a visible toll. She appears frail, sunburned, and nearly unrecognizable to those who remember her from glossy magazine covers. Despite occasional outreach and offers of help, Loni continues to refuse long-term assistance, choosing independence even under extreme conditions. Her story reveals a painful truth about fame. Success can disappear quietly, and without financial protection, mental health care, and consistent support, even those who once seemed untouchable can fall through the cracks, often unnoticed until it's too late. Wesley Snipes' downfall is a powerful reminder that even Hollywood's biggest stars are not immune to real-world consequences. In the 1990s, Wesley stood at the height of his career, dominating the box office with hits like New Jack City, White Men Can't Jump, and the massively successful Blade franchise. His charisma, athleticism, and unmistakable screen presence made him one of the most bankable action stars of the decade. With fame came enormous wealth, and for a time, it seemed nothing could slow him down. Behind the scenes, however, a critical mistake was quietly unfolding. Between 1999 and 2004, Wesley earned tens of millions of dollars, but failed to pay federal income taxes. He later claimed to be a non-resident alien, despite being born and raised in the United States, a defense the courts firmly rejected. In 2008, his world changed overnight when he was sentenced to prison and ordered to pay millions in back taxes and penalties. Red carpets were replaced by courtrooms and confinement. After his release in 2013, Wesley returned to Hollywood with caution. The swagger was softer, the roles were smaller, and the spotlight no longer burned as brightly. Today, he continues to work steadily, rebuilding his career with discipline and distance from controversy. His story is a lasting warning. Talent and fame may open doors, but accountability and financial responsibility ultimately determine how long success lasts. Leif Garrett's story is a powerful example of what can happen when fame arrives far too early. In the late 1970s, he became one of America's biggest teen idols. With feathered hair, a boyish smile, and hit songs dominating the radio, his face filled magazine covers and posters on bedroom walls across the country. He enjoyed chart-topping music, television roles, and screaming fans before he was old enough to fully grasp the cost of celebrity. Success came fast, but guidance and protection never caught up. As the 1980s began, Leif's popularity faded. Music trends shifted, acting roles disappeared, and the carefree teen image no longer fit. As the spotlight dimmed, substance abuse took hold. In 1979, his life changed forever after a devastating car accident. Driving under the influence, Leif crashed and left his close friend Roland Winkler permanently paralyzed. The tragedy became a defining moment that followed him for decades. What came next was a long and painful struggle. Addiction led to repeated arrests in the 2000s, with mugshots replacing magazine covers. Attempts at comebacks came and went, but the damage had already been done. His fortune disappeared, his career collapsed, and the idol once adored by millions became a cautionary tale. Leif Garrett's life reveals a harsh truth. Growing up in the spotlight without boundaries or support can leave scars long after the fame fades. Corey Haim's rise and fall stands as one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking cautionary tales. In the late 1980s, he became one of the defining faces of teenage stardom, winning over audiences in films like Lucas, License to Drive, and the cult classic The Lost Boys. His fame exploded almost overnight. Fans gathered outside his home, and thousands of letters poured in each week from admirers around the world. To the public, Corey seemed to be living a dream most teenagers could only imagine. Behind the scenes, however, his reality was far more fragile. Exposed to drugs at a young age, Corey battled addiction for much of his life. As he grew older, roles became scarce, and the industry that once celebrated him quietly moved on. By 2001, his circumstances had changed dramatically. Instead of a Hollywood mansion, Corey was living in a garage with his mother, struggling to restart his career. In interviews, he was seen editing his own demo reels, selling personal belongings, and even trying to sell strands of his hair and a tooth online just to afford food. Corey Haim passed away in 2010 at just 38 years old from pneumonia. In a heartbreaking final chapter, his family relied on public donations to cover his funeral costs. His story reveals the devastating cost of fame without protection, especially for young stars left alone once the spotlight fades. Margot Kidder's life captures both the brilliance and the cruelty of Hollywood fame. To generations of moviegoers, she will always be remembered as Lois Lane, the sharp, fearless reporter who stood alongside Superman in one of cinema's most iconic franchises. In the late 1970s, Margot enjoyed steady success, earning praise not only for Superman, but also for her role in the Amityville Horror. She appeared respected, secure, and firmly established in the industry. Behind the scenes, however, her life took a devastating turn. In 1990, a serious car accident left Margot temporarily paralyzed and unable to work. Medical bills quickly piled up, acting opportunities disappeared, and her financial stability unraveled. Without a steady income, she was forced to declare bankruptcy. The industry that once celebrated her quietly moved on, offering little support as she struggled under growing pressure and undiagnosed mental health challenges. By 1996, Margot had vanished from public view. She was later found living homeless, sleeping in cardboard boxes, her health visibly deteriorating. She was eventually diagnosed with bipolar disorder, helping explain years of instability that had gone largely unnoticed. Despite everything, Margot fought her way back, rebuilding her life in Montana and becoming a vocal advocate for mental health awareness. She passed away in 2018, leaving behind a sobering reminder. Hollywood can teach you how to fly, but it rarely prepares you for the fall. Erin Moran's story shows just how quickly television fame can fade once the cameras stop rolling. In the 1970s, she became a familiar and beloved presence in American living rooms as Joni Cunningham on Happy Days. Viewers watched her grow up on screen, drawn to her warmth, charm, and relatability. Her popularity even earned her a spin-off series, Joni Loves Chachi, cementing her status as a rising star. For a time, it seemed like success would follow her well into adulthood. As television trends shifted, however, Erin struggled to break free from being typecast. Acting opportunities dried up, and the steady work she once relied on slowly disappeared. Without the structure and financial stability Hollywood had provided, personal challenges began to pile up. By the late 2000s, Erin was living far from the spotlight, residing in a modest trailer park in Indiana with her husband. Reports of financial hardship painted a painful picture of a former star trying to survive without the safety net fame never truly offers. Behind her public smile, Erin was also battling serious health issues. In 2017, she passed away at just 56 years old from complications related to advanced stage cancer. There were no major scandals, only a quiet and heartbreaking ending. Erin Moran's life is a sobering reminder that childhood fame brings applause, but rarely prepares young actors for life after the lights go out. Brett Butler's story shows just how quickly massive television success can disappear. In the 1990s, she was one of the most powerful comedic voices on network TV. As the star of Grace Under Fire, Brett earned widespread praise for her sharp wit, raw honesty, and fearless portrayal of a tough, working-class woman. At her peak, she became one of the highest-paid sitcom actresses on television, earning millions and dominating ABC's primetime lineup. From the outside, her career seemed unstoppable. Behind the scenes, however, Brett was battling long-standing addiction and intense personal pressure. As those struggles deepened, her behavior became increasingly unpredictable. Tensions rose on set, production grew difficult to manage, and the cracks in her success became impossible to ignore. In 1998, ABC abruptly canceled Grace Under Fire, and the fallout was immediate. Without steady work, Brett's income collapsed. Her savings vanished, she lost her home, and the momentum of her career disappeared almost overnight. By 2011, the decline reached its lowest point. Brett Butler, once a household name, was living in homeless shelters in Georgia, a shocking contrast to her former fame. Although she tried to rebuild through smaller acting roles, financial stability remained fragile. When the pandemic shut down the entertainment industry in 2020, friends launched a GoFundMe to help her stay housed. Brett's journey is one of resilience and survival, highlighting a harsh truth. Hollywood fame is fleeting, and losing it can change a life forever. Gary Coleman's life reveals one of the darkest truths about child stardom. Earning millions does not guarantee safety or security. In the early 1980s, he became a household name as Arnold Jackson on Different Strokes. Despite his small stature, Gary's sharp comedic timing and unforgettable catchphrase made him one of the most recognizable child stars in television history. Behind the laughter, though, his life was shaped by serious challenges from the very beginning. Born with a severe kidney condition, Gary endured constant health struggles. He underwent 2 kidney transplants before adulthood and required lifelong medical care. While he earned substantial money during his peak years, much of it was controlled by the adults around him. In 1989, Gary sued his parents and former business manager for mismanaging his finances and won the case. But by then, much of the damage had already been done. Years of legal battles, mounting medical bills, and lost opportunities took a heavy toll. By the late 1990s, despite his early success, Gary was forced to declare bankruptcy. As he grew older, acting roles became scarce, with Hollywood unable or unwilling to see him beyond his childhood image. His later years were marked by public disputes, emotional strain, and legal trouble. Gary Coleman passed away in 2010 at just 42 years old after a brain hemorrhage. His story remains a sobering warning. Fame can elevate children overnight, but without protection, it can leave them painfully exposed once the applause fades. These stories prove that fame is not a safety net. It's a spotlight that can vanish without warning. Behind the applause and red carpets are real people who faced addiction, illness, financial ruin, and deep isolation once the industry moved on. Success came fast, but support often disappeared just as quickly. Their journeys remind us that money and recognition don't guarantee stability, protection, or happiness. As viewers, it's worth looking beyond the headlines and remembering the human cost of fame. If these stories changed how you see celebrity success, share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more real stories about what happens when the spotlight fades.